Oh, look at that. I need to flip my screen. Hello, hello. You're live. Hello. Here we are.
Happy
Just getting
Wednesday.
in for the day. Oh, I'm Angie Taylor.
Michelle Lindenberger.
You need to be in here.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'll sit on your lap.
Guess what? I know. Could you just sit on my
I
lap?
will sit on your lap.
We have one more day left of school.
Woohoo.
So we're a little squirrely.
Yeah.
Kind of excited about it.
Although we love your kids, all of our kids.
We do.
Love them all.
Yeah.
It'd be sad to see them go.
But they decided the summer started a week ago.
I know,
So
it's true.
So it's helpful for us that summer really starts. Anyway, today, though, as we're going into the school year, we meet together every Wednesday, whether you show up or not. We're glad when you do, but whether you show up or not, we get together and always have tips for parents and how can you equip and raise your kids, because we know raising kids is a great challenge. And I don't know about you. Do you ever do this? I still do this to this day as a parent. I still lay in bed at night and think about the areas I missed it.
Yep.
During the day, and think about the ways that I could have done better. And oh my goodness, I'm failing my kids. So I don't know if that's you.
Or you hear about somebody who's done something really awesome and like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, you're like, you're an awesome parent. I think, especially if I think this is true, moms or dads, but particularly moms, the whole mom guilt thing is a very real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very real thing. And so part of our goal here is just to come alongside parents as educators for many years, watching kids K through 12 grow up, as well as parents of grown kids, and coming along and just saying, here's some of the thoughts we have about it from our experience, just watching people and walking alongside of people grow their kids. So today we're talking about
Resilience.
We have 3 suggestions for the summer in helping develop. One of the things that we see in kids all of the time is, well, and actually adults, I think when I do a lot of hiring on our campus, sometimes nobody on my campus now, but sometimes you definitely see people that are very fragile flowers. They get pushed, they get rubbed the wrong way, and they crumble. They get a hard assignment to do and they crumble. And so, hi Carrie, hi Tracy. I'm glad you guys are on. Yes. Anyway, so our goal is to give you what are some useful things to develop resiliency in your kids, even over the summer. What are things you can do? I think as a society, we're very concerned about what we're seeing in kids. It's the whole entitlement. I don't understand that I have to work for it. You see it a lot.
I think it's a culture of wanting to protect our kids from everything and every hardship. And the problem with that is you're not setting your kids up for success, because if you're doing everything for them and protecting them from everything, they're not learning life skills.
It's true.
And
it's true, but it's really hard. So we want to talk about 3, and I just lost my notes. We want to talk about 3 things that you could actually do this summer, because I so enjoy these things. Tracy, we love it when you guys show up. We wanted to think first. Here's our number one.
Ooh, what is it?
Number 1, drum roll, please. The first thing to do to start your summer off is develop stretch goals with your kid for the summer, right? Like, don't just meander into the summer and let your kids just like, oh, season's off.
Don't take a break from.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, we'll give them a couple days off. That's fine. All right. But literally sitting down and talking with your kid again, and we always think that asking questions is the best way. Obviously, the younger they are, the more age appropriate this has to be, but it's the best way of, hey, what would you like to accomplish this summer? One of the things that I've found with kids is they will surprise you with in fact, I just had this conversation with a parent whose kid was working in to want to finish school, and they were talking about, should I do a GED or should I do a high school diploma, right? And so I was talking with the parent about, well, or actually the student, I said, well, let's talk about your end goal. Like, who do you want to become? What do you want to do? What's your goal after GED or diploma? What's that look like? And so as we talked about that, you know, I said, okay, there's a perceived easy route that you can absolutely take, which would be a GED, which would be a little easier route for you. And that's really true. Like, you can push the easy button now, but if your goal is this
later,
if your goal is to go to college, if your goal are these things, everything you're telling me, and those are wonderful, and I believe you're capable of doing it, then you have to do the hard stuff.
It's seeing yourself in the future. Where are you going to be? Where's your future self, and how do you get there?
So the first thing I would start with the stretch goal, helping kids develop stretch goals, is number one, who do they personally want to be? Would be the first thing. So I would incorporate reading into that as part of that. So maybe your kid has a passion about something, they want to learn more about something. Maybe they just need to get to be like, they want to do better academically, or they want to learn to read better. If you have this stretch goal of, okay, this summer we want to read 5 books, right? Or we want to learn about this subject, then what you're going to want to do is, if that's true, in the month of June, what do we need to do every single day, right? And break it down, because I think the mistake a lot of parents do is they think, we're going to read over the summer, we're going to do much more reading over the summer, but they don't put stretch goals, or they don't put the day-to-day goals, and we expect our kids to understand the day-to-day goals, right? And so when they don't finish the book, because I think that's what happens a lot, is kids will start, like, as a parent, we're really good about the, okay, we're going to read, you're going to spend 30 minutes reading today, and then by day 4, you're like, I don't want to fight my kid. So you're not doing it. The way to avoid that fight, Tracy, I'm guilty too. I was like, we're not throwing stones here. We're telling you what we did. but the
easy way out.
Right. The way to bypass those goals is to set it up with, okay, if our goal, let's say our goal is to read this book this month, that means you have to read 25 pages a day to get the book finished, right? And then putting some kind of accountability piece in place. Having an accountability piece in place, whether that's on the fridge, it's a checkoff thing, whatever it is, like, accountability is huge. If you go on a diet, which I should, but listen, people, we're waiting until the end. We're waiting until school is out to really think about that. But this is not about me.
No, it's not.
So, but what you know is the best thing you can do is have accountability. Like, the best thing to accomplish your goals is accountability.
And figure out with your kids, what are their triggers? What is it that really motivates them? Because some kids are they're list makers. They like to check things off the list, and so it's that thing of, like you said, putting it on the fridge, like, oh, I want to check that off, mark that box. And so that, or some kids are more motivated by time. If I get this much done, today, then I get time to play, or time to do whatever.
And then literally the best way to do this is front load it, not back load it. I think that's the other mistake sometimes we make of, okay, you can play for the first 2 hours, and then this afternoon we're going to. Don't do that. The best time, like, if your kids are going to get in the habit of devotions, if your kids are going to get in the habit of reading a book or anything like that, structure it in the first part of their day, so they know, when we get up in the summer, we eat, we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And then, like Rochelle said, the reward is free time, playtime, and then the rest of the day is easy. But that doesn't come without the structure and the reward. And I promise you, after doing it consecutively, you'll stop having to go. We have a 5th grade teacher on our campus. If you go in her classroom, like literally, I've done this where she's like, hey, can you watch my class? And I'm like, yep. And you sit in her class, and her class just walks through the entire routine with you saying nothing. It's so impressive.
They know. Because what happens, you do the same thing over time, then it's consistency that builds habits, and those habits are automatic that this is what we do.
Yeah, super, super true. So the first thing we're saying is make sure you understand what your stretch goal is, paired them with mini goals to get the stretch goal. So like if you're running a marathon, you don't start with 26.2 miles. I actually did this. I was at that point.
Because you're a little crazy.
But at the point that my goal was to run a marathon, I literally couldn't even run 2 miles when I set the goal. I'm like, okay. I don't know how, but I'm doing this. I'm gonna do this. But let me tell you how it worked. Is we backed it up, right? We backed it up and said, if in December I'm running 26.2 miles, what do I have to do in January?
Yes.
What do I have to do every day? And so on and so forth. And just to be clear, I run marathons. So like it is possible to go from zero, but it's all about stretch goal paired with mini goals, and then front loading that at the beginning portion of a day as a normal part of your routine getting up. Second, teaching your kids that the hard things aren't bad. Let them struggle. Let
them make mistakes. That's the best learning. I would say learning tool is the mistakes, because failure isn't the end of the world. But what it teaches them is it teaches them how to figure out the next step. What do I need to do to accomplish this? How do I need to change it? And then they start asking the questions. Or you as a parent ask the questions. Instead of doing that, let's do this. What worked? What didn't work? And so,
Well, it's interesting. We just had this at my house the other day with one of my kids, the only one that lives at home. So I kind of outed her. But she was putting some stuff away in the cupboard. She was doing dishes, which, by the way, chores in the summer, yes.
For sure.
Yes. And I would even say go beyond this. We have set chores in our house that you do because you live here.
Right.
Like, I'm not paying you to do it. It's just part of being a contributing member
don't get allowance
of this
for doing,
family. Then we have the chores you can earn money for.
Right.
I would expect this to be extra for you to do it. But just so you guys know, like, I am a firm believer in you're part of this family. And we all contribute in our home. We all have our pieces that we serve in this home. And we do that because we love each other, because we're part of a family, because we add value to one another, not for what I'm just going to get out of it.
And also teaching your kids.
Strongly about that?
Absolutely, 100%. And teaching your kids to do something. Well, I don't know how to do that, or I haven't done that. You know what? That builds confidence when you teach your kids new skills. It's our job as parents to teach skills to the kids. So give them harder jobs. And
I was going to, so on Saturday, one of my kids was doing the dishes, and we have this cupboard that has stuff in it, but you have to put it like exactly the right order, exactly the right place, or it does not work. It doesn't fit, right? And so of course she's like leaves it out in the cupboard and hightails out of the kitchen. And I'm like, come back. She's like, I couldn't get it in. And I'm like, oh,
that's a perfect example.
Well, work at it. You're smart.
Right.
You can do this. And of course she was annoyed. By the way,
and it's okay.
Eye rolling, being annoyed doesn't constitute you as a parent going, fine, I'll just do it myself.
No.
Right?
Don't give in to that.
Don't give in, because it's skill sets you're teaching them. You're teaching them to do the hard things. So I definitely, again, pulled back and just looked at her and went, I know you're smart enough to do this. And of course, I'm telling you, there was a lot of, it doesn't work, right? And I just smiled and I'm like, well, the great news is it's like 7 o'clock.
You have lots of time.
Bedtime's not till 10. So how about it? You're like,
and she's a middle schooler, but even with children, like I think I shared this story before, but when my grandson Jackson, his pants were all inside out and everything, and he wanted his mom to fix them and help him, and she goes, no, Jackson, I know you can do this. You need to figure it out. And he did.
Yeah, it is affirming belief. But the bottom line is for our kids. And by the way, once my child figured out that I was not about to get up and do this. It literally was 5 minutes or less.
Yes.
Figured it out.
Yes.
Left the kitchen. I got up, realized the sinks and counters had been not cleaned off, and I called her back up. Because, by the way, that's the other thing we do as parents. Sometimes we do that. It's easier if I do it myself because I like the way it looks. Train your kid to do it the way it finished looks. Train your kid to do the way excellent looks. Yeah. And when they haven't accomplished the right way, or when they haven't accomplished it to a standard, call them back. You're not mad about it. Like, I'm never mad about you not getting the kid. But what I want to assure you is I will always, I will consistently pull you back in and encourage you to, hey, when you're done, what should, and quite frankly, now the question is, when they say they're done with something, I always just look at them and go, is it mom approved?
Yep.
And then there's literally my kids have come to, let me go check. But it's just it's teaching them that grit, but a lot of times as parents, because we don't want the argument, or because
it's easier for us.
It's easy. Listen, it's easier for me just to get up and do it the way I like it and have it done the way I like it, and do it myself. But the reality is I'm not equipping and training
it's like
my kid for their future, and equipping them to live with somebody other than me. Because listen, if you have particularly, I felt it really strongly about my son. I felt so strongly about my son cooking and doing dishes. And I would always tell him, I'm like, your wife is going to love you, and she's going to love me even more.
Because you trained him well.
Exactly. So I think that's a really important.
It's
but by
huge.
the same token, my husband feels really strong about helping our daughters be mechanically inclined.
Absolutely.
Right? He's always like, you can fix that. Take the screwdriver and do this, rather than swooping in. We've really tried to empower our kids to do that. So first thing, establishing your stretch goals. Second thing, teaching them to do the hard things. If you're on a hike this summer and kiddo is, I think this is one of the things a lot of parents back off wanting to do hikes or wanting to do stuff that's fun in the summer because it's just grumbling and complaining. I promise you, if you teach them to do the hard things when they're finished and you celebrate, they will find that the hard things are a joyful place to live. And so when you're hiking, because we did a ton of hiking with our kids, when you're hiking, the best thing to do when they start going, I'm tired, I need to pick me up, I want to turn on. We used to do the, hey, see that tree down.
The little goals.
Set the little goals. Do you think you can make it? Let's make it there. If we can make it there, we're going to stop and take a drink of water, right? So set yourself mini goals, because your goal is to always get your kid looking ahead to a place they feel like they can reach. Mini goals are essential to helping resiliency. And then the third thing is consistency. And this is the hardest thing. It's like what we were saying about the chores. When they're not done right, I'm consistently going to call you back. And I'm not going to be angry about it, but you can be promised that consistently, I might, if you consistently require me to call you back, I might give you extra chores.
There you go.
I'm not mad about it, but perhaps you just need more practice here.
Yes. Well, and you're teaching kids to do things with excellence, because when they're going to go get a job or play a sport,
well, it shows up literally in everything.
It does. It really does.
An attitude and spirit.
It's an attitude, a mindset. I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, and if I'm just doing a halfway job, those are the people who really don't become successful, because their bosses, their coaches, everybody looks at the person who's doing everything and they know they're giving their best, versus barely getting by because I gotta check it off, so I'm just gonna do with excellence.
It is. It's a really interesting thing to me that the thing to always remember is what you're training in your home. You're preparing your kid for success, or you're preparing your kid for failure, both in other relationships, in college roommate relationships, in marriage relationships, in job, relationships, like how you're training right now, like it all matters. All of it matters, and it's okay if you haven't to this point.
Yes.
Always knowing that your child's grumbling is not the indicator to you as a parent to pull back.
Right. And teach your kids, and remember, and I know I always say this when we're on here, we have got to model it.
Yeah.
We've got to be the ones to model it, of not starting something and quitting, and doing our best, and having managing our emotions. When things don't go your way, what do? Do you get upset? Do you freak out? Do you get emotional? And your kids pick up on that, so they will do that as well.
Yeah.
And that's one of the keys for people to be very resilient and have grit, is to have emotional management.
Yeah.
Just to manage your emotions. Because that's huge.
Good. Part of being consistent, because I think this is a hard thing for some people to understand, is in our home, we make one-time decisions, right? Yeah. So like, for example, we made a one-time decision as a family that if we're not on vacation, we're going to church.
Right.
Like, we don't wake up on a Sunday morning and wonder or decide how do we feel or take a temperature poll of anybody. Like, as a family, we're consistent to church because we made a one-time decision. Yeah. This is what we do as a family. Yeah. Same thing with chores. Right? Same thing with book reading. Yeah. Same thing with devotions. I made a one-time decision that that's the first part of my day every single day. And so helping my kids make that decision is I never wake up asking, do I feel like this?
Do I feel like it?
Do I want to do this? Yeah. So the part of being consistency is making one decision. All right? I'm looking at my mom. Call your mama. I know where you got that. That is, yes, I love my mama. It is, listen, guys, your kids will be blessed by you as a parent, especially because I look at however old I am. I'm old now with adult children, and I literally still call my mom, and I still am so grateful for the lessons that she has done and given me, that like so much of what you hear, I learned from my parents as a kid, and what a tremendous, my life has benefited so profoundly because of what my parents poured into me. So just like, we want to encourage you. We know it's hard. Make one-time decisions. Don't worry about your feel. Make the right decisions. Make stretch goals with mini set goals, but have your kid try to contribute to them and have them contribute in your home. I think we've said it all. We are out of school tomorrow.
Half a day.
Woohoo! We might or might not be celebrating that. Yes. I don't know if you know this, but principals and teachers are every bit as happy as children are about the last day of school.
We're all celebrating today.
It's an exciting thing.
It's fun.
So God bless you. If you like the content, love us, share us with your friends. We always appreciate it because we want to get the word out. We are all better together as parents, and we care about you.
Yes,
Have a great day.
Sing your song.
I will sing this